Okay, we're gonna start. Enjoy, thank you, enjoy. Welcome everyone. My name is Hein and I'm an addict. Hi. Welcome to the next rookie speaker meeting of the 2024 World Service Convention of Cocaine Anonymous. I would like to begin this meeting with an extended moment of silence to do with you as you choose, followed by the Serenity Prayer. Thank you very much. God. Thank you. At this time, as to not disturb the speaker, we will observe the seventh tradition, which states that we are fully self-supporting through our own contributions. Any donation which you place into the basket will go into the general account of the convention, with any proceeds being forwarded to the CA and to CA World Services to help us carry the message to the addict who still suffers. Newcomers need not feel obliged to contribute. Donations can be made either via the QR displayed here or the QR code displayed in the Yep app, or you can put cash in. Cocaine Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, and that they may solve their common problem and help others recover from their addiction. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using cocaine and all other mind-altering substances. There are no dues or fees for membership. We are fully self-supporting through our own contributions. We're not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organizations, or institutions. We do not wish to engage in any controversy, and we neither endorse nor oppose any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay free from cocaine and all other mind-altering substances, and to help others achieve the same freedom. We use the 12 steps of recovery because it's already been proven that the 12 steps program works. It's a custom in CA to read who is a cocaine member, and I've asked you to read it for us.
Good morning, my name is Simone, I'm an addict. Who is a CA member? While the name Cocaine Anonymous may sound drug specific, we wish to assure you that our program is not. Many of our members did a lot of cocaine, others only used a little, and some never ever tried coke. We have members who drank only on occasion, those who casually referred to themselves as drunks, and others who were full-blown alcoholics. Lots of us used a wide variety of mind-altering substances. Whether we focused on specific substance or used whatever we could get our hands on, we had one thing in common. Eventually, we all reached a point where we could not stop. According to CA's third tradition, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using cocaine and all other mind-altering substances. Whether you may have been using, if it led you to this meeting, you're probably in the right place. Over time, virtually every single one of us has realized that our real problem is not cocaine or any other specific drug, it's the disease of addiction. It can be tempting to focus on our differences rather than our similarities. But this can blind us to potential sources of support in our recovery. As we hear other member stories, the most important question to ask ourselves is not, would I have partied with these people? But rather, do these people have a solution that can help me stay sober? We encourage you to stick around and listen with an open mind. With its all-inclusive third tradition and first step, Cocaine Anonymous welcomes anyone with a drug or alcohol problem and offers a solution. CA's 12 steps are not a drug-specific, and Cocaine Anonymous is not a drug-specific fellowship. It doesn't matter to us if you drank or what type of drugs you used. If you have a desire to stop, you're welcome here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, this is a speaker meeting. I'm sorry. We are delighted to have the amazing Thijs from the Netherlands share his experience, strength and hope with us tonight. But Thijs, before you going to speak, there is somebody who's going to introduce you, right? And this one is Roger. Roger, would you come, please?
My name is Roger and I'm an addict. First of all, thank you all for being here. I met Thijs a little over 2 years ago. I met him at a meeting near my hometown, and I handed him a newcomer chip. And 2 meetings later, at my own home group, he asked me to be his sponsor. Through working the steps with him, I found out that I had more in common with him than I ever thought, and he's a far better man than I will ever be. So warm welcome to Thijs from the Netherlands.
Hello? It's working. Tough. Thank you. As you heard, my name is Thijs and I'm an addict. I think the most persons outside of the Netherlands that see my name think like how it is pronounced. Yeah, it's like Thijs. It's a common Dutch name. Well, I'm 26 years old. I'm from a little town on the southern regions of this country. It's called, it's close to Venlo, but my little village is called Hegelsom. Maybe even harder for the most people to pronounce it out. But it's a little town, like almost, I think, 1,700 people. Just a little town. I was born and raised in this little town with a loving family. I had a loving father, I had a loving mother. And as a child, when I look at my family, I had everything I needed as a child. But I had the problems because I was in a little town. In primary school, we only had 1 class for every age generation because there weren't more children to fill the classes. As a child, I was already like a really big boy. I was really fat at a young age, and the most guys in my school liked to play soccer and liked to play sports. And because I was bigger than the rest, I was always the last one winning at the end. So that made me a really easy target for them to bully at. And at that age, because I was bullied a lot, I didn't want to get in trouble. So the first thing that came in my mind, I have to be quiet. I have to be small. I have to just try everything to be under the radar and not getting that much of attention. Just be this quiet kid. It always gives me more relief than just getting bullied. I did everything I could to not be the victim. And now I'm in recovery. I saw that way of thinking, like not getting bullied, I also did that to my parents. I got all the love I needed, but because I was always so quiet and so lonely as a kid, I never developed like the talent of expressing my feelings with my parents. Because I have to be tough, I have to be quiet around other children. And I can't, because I never learned that in school, I couldn't show that to my parents. And At a young age, I didn't know I really needed that. I just tried to survive every day, just not getting bullied, getting through every day, getting through every week, getting through every month, and it was just surviving. And I noticed when I go to secondary school, it was in a bigger village, all little villages combined. It was like a school, and I was the only kid from my own village in that class, and I had to make new friends, but I never learned the talent to express my feelings, express my thoughts. I was always bullied. I was really anxious to make new bonds with people. And I noticed when I go to secondary school, I was just lonely. Because I was the only kid from my village. And I didn't have the talent to make new friends from other villages. It was way too scary for me. And I noticed, because I didn't get any friends, I was just really lonely. Sure, I got my family, I got my parents, but I also couldn't express my feelings, express my thoughts, and I noticed I was getting really depressed. I was just getting really lonely. I just not fulfilling the life. And when I was 13 years old, I got my first gaming laptop, and I noticed the first time I went gaming, I noticed I could be myself. I could just, the thoughts in my head, all the anxiety, all the depression, all the negative thoughts about myself just completely went shut off when I started logging in on the computer. And that was my way after school to just settle down. I had so many negative thoughts on school, and when I was coming home from school, that was the reason I could survive in the evening. It was just to get my mind shut down. And I did that for a couple of years. Luckily, there were also a few other gamer kids in school, and all the gamer guys assembled together, and we made a friend group who I'm still having today. That's a positive thing about the gaming. But now on a later level, I noticed that playing the video games was just a way of me getting out of the reality, getting out of our mind, and just survive. That was for me. It was just like an escape plan for me. When I was getting older, the friendship still hung together. And when I was 17 years old, I started going out. I started drinking alcohol. First was beer, but on a later level, because I needed more to redeem my feelings, I just drank more, and different, stronger things. But I noticed partying, it was amazing, because I could be myself. I was really the little bullied kid, the anxiety and depression. When I started drinking, I noticed everything went down. And it was nice, because the anxiety kid, when I had a couple of drinks, I didn't have any trouble walking to a lady and say, hi, how are you doing? But when I was sober, it was way too scary for me to do that, because I find it really hard to open myself, to have a conversation with someone, and just be vulnerable. That was always the biggest problem I had. And I noticed that the first years I started drinking, I think that were the best moments in my life before I came in recovery. I noticed it was a way I was able to handle life. I started studying. First I did chemistry. I found it really enjoying, something I really like, I was passionate about. But I always found problem to take my responsibility for things. Like when I have to work with groups, I always was really struggling, because I was always the one that didn't have his shit done in time. I was the one, I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't ask for opinions. I couldn't handle feedback. And that was always a problem, because I was able to, all the courses I was able to do them properly, but every time I had to work together with someone, or when I have to do a big project, I was just like so chaotic in my head, it always went downhill from there. So I dropped out of school from chemistry. I worked for 9 months for 9 months I worked in a distribution center for clothes. Just a few months of work, just settle my brain down and just focus on a new study. The new study was mechanical engineering, and that was the thing I found my passion in. because as a little kid I always liked to build with Legos and stuff like that. And when I started mechanical engineering, I could do it, but then on a bigger scale and with machines instead of little Lego blocks. But I also, the weird thing about it, it was a study I really enjoyed, but it was walking again the same problems as I had with the first study. I couldn't take responsibilities. I couldn't handle big projects. I couldn't work together with other people. And because I had those problems, I also fucked up the second study. And I was like, shit, the same thing happened twice to me now. What am I going to do now? So I had a few, I got a few calls with some people that help students to make choices and everything. And we had a conversation, and she said to me, I really see that you are struggling. Why don't you try to just go down a level? And first thing, my ego was like, no, I'm good enough for this. But looking back at that period now, what I needed was just a little bit of relief. I noticed when I have to try my best every day, I noticed that at some point I'm getting stressed out that much. I say, fuck you all, I'm doing my own thing. And so that was the reason I continued mechanical engineering, but that on a little bit lower level. And I noticed, because I didn't have that much stress, I noticed that was the thing I really liked, because I didn't have to try as much. I could be myself. I could, outside of school, I could talk with other people, and that was the thing I really I enjoyed quite much. But then coronavirus hit. I like going out. I had a few drugs in my life before. It was just not memorable, just a few nights. But alcohol was my biggest problem back then. But I noticed when I got corona, I was a lot at home because the schools were closed. We had to do school from distance at my own laptop at home. And I noticed I was getting really depressed. I had nobody around me. My parents were working all day, so all day I was at home, all alone. So the negative thoughts I had as a little child, I could first I could handle them with a little bit of alcohol in the weekend, but those negative thoughts from the past got that big that I wasn't able to handle them, only going out on the weekend. So I started drinking during the week just to get a little bit of relief. But I noticed it went worse and worse, because only with alcohol I couldn't handle it. So from going out, the first time I was using Coke, and it was amazing. And I noticed it was way quicker and it was way easier for me to hide it back home. And I noticed I really needed alcohol and drugs just to get through that corona period. And after my study, I went working. I always had a plan after study to go on a long trip to Asia, to Japan and South Korea. But yeah, because of the coronavirus, I couldn't really live my dream. So I had to start working. And that was the period that really went downhill. At a young age, I was 22 at that age. I started working at a company I did an internship for. It was a really nice internship, but now I have to work there as a full-time employee. There were a few guys around there, like important people there, that left his job, and there was one job that came open, and they asked me to do it. And at the age of 22, I had my own building at the company, and I noticed I wasn't capable of doing that. I was a good worker because I was from a farmer family, so working hard was in my blood. But managing was not something that wasn't my problem. I'm so chaotic in my own head. When I have to plan something, I don't know what to do. I'm good at working, but I'm not good at telling other people what to do, and I'm not good at asking help. I'm not good at planning things. So when you have a person of 22 with those bad attributes, it's just like it's just a combination of disaster. And I went, when I look back at that period, I started using cocaine on a daily basis. It only started in the weekend, but I couldn't handle only the weekend. It went for 3 days, then it went 4 days, then it went 5 days, then it went 6 days. Like in a period of 8 months, I went from a weekend user to an all-day user. And I think that's the most scariest thing I ever saw about myself. Just remembering back things, I already get chills on my back already. Seeing myself slip down that quickly. I'm only 22. I'm not able to resist drugs for more than 1 day. I'm a bad worker. I can't take responsibilities. I can't express my emotions. I have really troubles with making friends. But I just try to continue because that was the only thing I know. I feel so bad about myself. The only thing that helped me is just using drugs. And for a little while it helped, but at some point, because I was using that much and at that much intervals, that my body just stopped working. At one day, it was the 15th of June in 2022, just a little more than 2 years ago. I was so exhausted. I was awake for 72 hours. I just took my car in the morning and I drove to work. But my body was that tired, I just fell asleep behind the steering wheel. Went down on the right of the road against a big tree. Luckily, it was a tree on the right side, because I think when I hit on the left side, I'm not sure I was able to walk here. I went to the right side, I asleep. My car was, of course, all fucked up. But I was able to come out. And that was the reason I was really scared of myself. Because I noticed I had a problem. I tried to stop a few times with drugs, but I was just not capable of stopping. And at some point, I just said to myself, now I'm just to stop. Because I didn't have to let myself down. I just stopped with stopping. That was just a thought process in my head. Because when I stop with stop, then I can't be hard for myself because I didn't even try. And that was when I look back at that time, that's just the chaos that goes around my head when I'm busy with drugs. When I can't go through life with myself, with my own thought process, with my own emotions. I just had a car crash on 15th of June, 2022. My parents were, for sure, they were worried for a long time. My parents asked a few times, are you using drugs? Are you using alcohol? Is there something wrong with you? Is there like some secrets you want to tell us because we're worried about you? But I always say, no, I'm fine. And just try to survive every day. But I noticed the problems I got didn't go away. I still had the same problems, but every time I used way too much or I was embarrassed of myself. My problems stay there, but every time I start using again, more and more embarrassment came along with it. My problems stay there, but it gets worse. I had a friend, I told a few lies just to get around something, and then I had to tell another friend to go around there again. And I noticed I was living in my own fantasy world. I couldn't be honest with anyone. Even if I tried to, I couldn't be honest. I was always really secret about what I'm doing and what I'm going to do and what I'm thinking. And I was just telling everyone I'm fine. But from the inside, I was dying. I was just like a helpless little child that is in the water, try to get up in the air. But I just tried to continue. And when I'm going back to the day where I had a car crash, my parents went to my working place and they had a meeting with my boss and my manager. They were talking with the four of them. They locked the door so I couldn't get in. They want to speak privately about me without me interfering them. So they were talking with 4 persons while I was locked out of the door. And after like 30 minutes, they invited me in and they said to me, I don't want to hear any excuses. I just want to hear what is going on with you. Yeah. And the first thing that came in my mind, "Ah, nothing. I'm doing good. I just had a car crash 2 hours ago, and I'm saying at my workplace I'm doing fine. It's just mental, right? So we had a discussion. Yeah, my father asked me a few other questions, but I just threw everything back at him. I tried to go around it, just avoid the conversation. So my parents drove with the car home again. And the first thing my father was doing was go to my bedroom and just search everything. And at first I was always really keen on just, I was always secret about it. I was hiding everything, but I was getting sloppy because in my head it was more chaos, and I was getting really sloppy with cleaning everything up. So my father pulled out one of the drawers in my drawers in my bedroom, and he counted the amount of seals that were inside of it, and there were, I think he saw to me, it were 37 empty packages. And my father told me my father called me and he asked me while I was at work what was inside of it. And that was the moment I couldn't lie anymore, because I was wet and busted. The first thought in my head was, no, it's nothing. But I don't know what happened there, but something inside of me just, it felt so wrong, and I just said that it was cocaine. And from that moment on, I was so embarrassed of myself. But from that moment, I felt some relief. For a very long time, I finally was honest about something. I always lied about stuff. I always did put myself better on than I really am. Just saying that I'm fine, while from the inside I'm dying. But from that moment on, I was honest with someone. My parents came back at work, and we were sitting down with 5 guys already. I really feel sorry about my manager and my boss, because it was a tiring day for them. But I got one question. My boss asked me a question. You have 2 choices. You want to work for me, or you want to get out. You work on yourself, or you work for yourself and for me, or you just don't do both. We're not mixing it up. You can work for me, but only if you just try to get clean, because I want a decent employee at my factory. And my parents say the same. My parents say, you have to be honest, you have to work on yourself, and then you're able to be our son. If you don't work on yourself, you're not allowed to come in our house. And from that moment on, I knew I had to do something about myself. At first, I was really sorry for my parents and for my boss. So that were the first reasons I tried to be clean. It was not for myself. I just want to be a good employee. I want to be a good son. I didn't do it for myself. I went to professional help 2 days a week. When I look back at the first week of recovery, I didn't know how I did it. I was working 32 hours. I had 2 full days of therapy sessions a day, and I was going to 4 meetings a week. That was how bad I wanted to do it for someone else. But still not for me, but I really worked my ass off the first weeks of recovery. But I noticed, after being clean and do it for other people, I felt like I still felt empty. When I was in therapy, they told me I was a sick man. I always thought about myself, I'm a failure. I can't do things properly. I can't make friends. I'm a bad son for my parents. I'm a bad family member. I just felt a genuine failure, and now I was just a coke-sniffing addict. Still a failure. That was the thought process in my head. But they told me, you're a sick person. And at first I was like, what the hell are you going to say that I'm sick? You're sick yourself. But after a few weeks, the message fell down. And I started to accept the fact that I'm sick. And after I accepted that I'm sick, that's when I start doing it for myself. And that's the best choice I made in my recovery. Not doing it for my parents, not doing it for my employer, but doing it for myself. Because when I start doing it for myself, then I noticed it was getting better. I was feeling genuine love, genuine fulfillment in my life. And I still can't express it. Roger, the man that introduced me, from the therapy sessions, they told me that there were meetings. I was looking for meetings, and I saw AA, I saw NA. But I saw also a CA meeting, and it was one village next door, so it was like only a 5-minute bike ride, and I thought, oh, that's easy. So I went down there. At that time, I was really broken because I noticed I had so much chaos and so much negative thoughts in my head. The only thing that could temper that was using drugs and alcohol. But now I'm still having those negative things, but I don't have any alcohol or drugs to hold it down. So I know at that time I was just like a ping pong ball going around the room everywhere, because I was running, because I didn't want to stop here. I was not even possible to get my mind shut. It was just like a ball going around the room. And I went down in the meeting, and I felt a genuine feeling of quietness and love, affection. There was a group of all big men, lots of tattoos. Yeah, I don't have that much, but it was not the kind of group I normally would go out on. When I'm walking through Amsterdam, it's not the type of people I walk to say van, hey, how are you doing? But that feeling when I came down to that meeting, I can't describe it. I was the newcomer. I was the most important people in the room, they said. And I said to them, what are you mumbling about? I'm just a bypasser. I'm just looking at what you're doing, and when I get home, I'm just forget you. That was my first thought. And I remember it was a hot summer night. I went there in the meeting. They were literally fighting with 3 people who had to give me the seat, because all seats were occupied, and 3 people at the same time stood up and said, "No, take my seat." And I thought it was the complete opposite of what I used to, because I was always bullied. I had to fight for my own chair, and when I didn't have my chair, I just had to be quiet so nobody made like a comment about me. But at this moment, I could be myself in the room, and people give me the seat. It was the complete opposite. And I got a suggestion from some fellows in the meeting, and they said, "Yeah, there are also other groups, and maybe it's good for you to discover other places." Drink. Yeah. The mumbling gets you really thirsty, indeed. No, but they told me there were other meetings around the same region. I just went there because I was really curious, and I have nothing better to do, because at first I was using every evening, and now I'm not. So I have so many hours left in my daily schedule. So who am I to sit down on the couch and just be lazy? Now I can do some other things in those hours. And I noticed I found it really interesting in the beginning of my recovery, just to explore places, go to new meetings, get to know new people, and just going out, try to explore. Because I was always the quiet kid that tried to get at least attention as possible, and now I was genuinely feeling loved and genuinely felt like attraction to other people. And that was the moment, the first time in my life, I generally had the feeling I needed to explore. I had to open up. I didn't start with the 12 steps the few weeks, but because I always like to analyze stuff, and I saw at the most meetings, the people that were generally feeling okay with themselves, having fun with each other. And at first glance, I thought, how is that possible? Because you're not using drugs. How can you be happy in life? But I just started the conversation with them. And I asked everyone in the room that was sitting happily in that room, why are you happy? And everyone told me, yeah, I did the 12 steps. I said, okay. And how do you start the 12 steps? Yeah, you get a sponsor and you buy a big book. It's 13 euros. I think you saved a few grams of I think you save a few grams of cocaine, so you must have 13 euros. And they said, just buy the book and go work with your sponsor. And I said, yeah, but how do I choose a sponsor? Yeah, you just take someone you feel like relatable with. And I said, yeah, but I don't really feel a strong bond with someone. Yeah, you just have to take a sponsor. So I saw the man in the room that gave me my newcomer's coin, and I said, I want you as my sponsor. And at first he asked me, what is the reason you want me? Yeah, I said, you gave me the coin. But that was the only thing I come up with, because I was still really terrible at making new bonds. But that was generally a moment. The first hug I got from him and the coin, it was general a feeling of warmth and comfort. So I thought, yeah, I have to do something personal with myself. Better take someone that makes me feel comfortable. So we started working with steps. He said to me, we're going to drink a cup of coffee, and then we immediately start with step 1, 2, 3. And I said, but the 12 steps is already 25% done. I say, okay. But you have to call me a few times, and I want you to read the first chapter in the book, The Story of Bill. And I want to hear if you have any similarities between yourself and the story of Bill. I remember the first day I opened the book and I started reading. I think the first 2 pages were all colored in. I had so many similarities. When I was going to the meeting, I already had a few similarities with the people that were talking there, but I was so busy in my own mind, I didn't get everything that was said on the meeting. But now I was just at a quiet place, I was reading the book, and at that moment, I was really open to just let everything sink in. And I just read, okay, oh yeah, this is me. Yeah, this is me. This is me. And I thought, what the fuck is this book? And how did it get here? But that was the moment I got really, how do you say it? I was getting confident that the thing I'm about to do, just about to start the 12th step, this is going to save me. This is going to help me. I want to be the same happy fellow that is going around the meetings as other people. I don't want to be the grumpy old man that's sitting down there. No, I want to be the happy little guy that's sitting down there. And I started with the steps. Step 1, 2, 3. Step 1, saying to yourself, I'm powerless to drugs and all other mind-altering substances. Yeah. I'm 22. I can't study. I can't continue my work. I can't be a good son. I can't be a good friend. Literally, I'm nothing while I'm using drugs. And the fact that I'm going to the meeting, I'm going to a Cocaine Anonymous meeting, so I must have a problem with cocaine. That was already my first step. And I thought to myself, the thing that I always tried in life, the 22 years, never got me to a place where I'm really happy and really confident about myself. So there must be another thing. I'm helpless against cocaine, alcohol, and all other mind-altering substances. So that was easy for me to say to myself, yeah, I'm Thijs, and I'm an addict. And sometimes I say I'm an addict, and my name is Thijs. But the relief after saying to myself, to my deepest self, yeah, I'm Thijs, but I'm also an addict, that was the first moment I really felt peace. Because at that moment, because the first thing to solve a problem, you have to accept that you have a problem. So my step one, after accepting I'm an addict, from that moment on, I noticed this was my new start. Setting step two, believing in a higher power. At first it was really hard for me. I grew up in a loving family, a Christian family. I went to church a lot when I was a little kid, but after I was a teenager, it got worse and it got less and less. Because it was not something to brag about and to be cool to the other kids. I was already the bullied child, and when I was telling them I work for the church, and they said, "Oh, I hate you even more." Oh, dan moet ik even doorgaan. So when I was the teenage years, I noticed that it was getting less and less and less. But I still had the feeling there was something. I just didn't know what it was. And I can tell you, after 2 years, I still don't know what it is. But the belief in a power higher than myself always was there. But I never did something with it. I opened myself up to make connection with it. And today, when some people ask me, "What is your higher power? What is your God?" I still say to them, I don't know. I'm just searching, and I keep searching every day. The fact that I'm doing step two, the fact that I'm believing in a power higher than myself, is just telling myself, I don't know. But something else will. The feeling when you're going to the meeting, I can't describe it. The feeling of the similarities between myself and the big book, I can't describe it. When I'm working with sponsees, seeing them doing things, I can't describe it. It are all things I can describe, so it's bigger than myself, and I have to say, okay, I'm less than my higher power. I have to be a servant. I don't have to do my own thing. I have to be of use of Him. But how do I be a servant of Him? For me, doing the step three, giving my will and life in the hands of God, as I think it is. There was a little prayer in the big book, the step 3 prayer. At first, my sponsor said to me, I want you to do this every morning. Okay. And I started the first day, and I was like, oh, no, I'm not getting out. I was like the first verse, and I was, oh, no, nothing. But after 30 minutes, I took up the big book again and try again. But this time, I got forwards. Okay. Lay it down. And after an hour, I took the big book again and just tried it again. I really wanted to do it, because I saw the genuine happiness of the people in the meeting, and I want to do everything to achieve the same happiness and the same luck as the people in those rooms. So how far I have to go, I have to finish this prayer, if I like it or not. So it was really the obsession I always used for my drug addiction. I used it just for my recovery. But it really helped me the first stages. I was just trying, and every day and every hour, I came a little bit further in my step 3 prayer. And after 2 years, I just can shake it off, like just between everything. But after doing the 3rd prayer, saying to myself, I don't have to rule my own life. I have to serve everyone around me and let me guide through life. I don't have to take responsibility. I just have to do what people tell me to do. And I noticed that way of thinking and that way of living a life, I really noticed that was something that gave me inner peace. And while I achieved that inner peace, I could start with step 4, my personal inventory. And I could write down all the anger, all the fear, and all the sorrow I have had in my life. My sponsor told me, you have to start with the anger list. And I said, oh yeah, it's easy, because I always was angry. Because when people come really close to me, when I was feeling uncomfortable, I just put my shoulders up and say, I was just getting a higher voice and just yell at them. That was the easiest way to get people from a distance from me. So I thought, yeah, anger is really easy. And I was just writing down anger. But while I was writing down anger, I noticed it was always because at the last I needed to write down where the anger comes from. And when I saw my list again, on the right side of the list, what causes all my anger? Fear, 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 fear. I was a bit sad. Fear, 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 fear. But I noticed the cause of all my anger was fear. I was really anxious to be that little bullied kid again. And I tried everything in my power to not be that little kid. I want to be a big man. I want to be better than someone else. I don't want to make people feel bad. I want to make friends with everyone. And those fears. Later in the big book, it's noticed that the first thing you can do about fear is prayers. And I thought, oh, that's easy. I already did my third step prayer. Oh, I can use it again for my fear issues. I still don't know how it works, but I notice when I think about the fears and when I lay it down in my prayers, it goes down a bit. And I noticed while I was doing my step 4, step 5, I noticed my confidence went up. I could walk straight up. I didn't have much problems talking with someone. After 2 years, somehow I'm capable of talking with a big group. When you asked me to do this 2 weeks ago, I was just running home again. But that's the biggest discovery I had in the early phase of my recovery. I have my fears. Yeah, it's natural. But I also have something just to go through the fears. Because I noticed that the fears in my head is a blockade to explore new things. And for me, recovery is really close to discovery. I have to discover every day something new about myself and other people. And the fear that I have is holding me back. I have to go through the fear. I have to explore new things. Sometimes I need to make mistakes, and sometimes I need to make the same mistake 2 or 3 times because I'm an addict. But I need to keep making mistakes just to be a better person. I need to improve. I need to learn. But the fear is holding me back. I have to be daily active with my fears and just try to cope with them. And when those fears dropped down a bit, I was able to do step 6 and step 7. All my character defects, I've got quite a few, but the fact that I can work on my character defects day by day makes it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, I've this pile of garbage that I have to work with, but every day I'm getting a little pile and just work it on for today. And the next day I take a new pile. And I noticed after doing my step 6 and 7, when my confidence grew, I noticed my character defects go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. And on some days I was like really euphoric and just walking like with big shoulders around the room. But then I have a few fellows I can call and I say van, oh, look at that and that and that. Oh, yeah, okay, I have to work again. But the fact that I can work on myself day by day is really helpful because every day I can put down a new target for myself just to achieve. And every day I'm going to my bed without using alcohol, without using drugs or every other mind-altering substances. I can go to bed and I can be happy and I can be confident and I can be fulfilled about myself. And that is something I never had because I was always sorry for things. I was always angry at people. I was always anxious. But after I did my steps 6 and 7 on daily basis, I was going to bed like with a feeling from, okay, I'm really curious what next day is going to bring me. And after that, I could do a step 8 and step 9. I cleaned up my own shit, but now I have to clean up the shit from other people. There were a lot of people in the world I did pain to. And for the first time, I could sit in front of those people. I could tell them what I've done, what I'm sorry for, and then just sit down at the table, keeping my mind shut, and just ask them everything negatively you want to speak out for yourself against me, throw it out. This is your moment. I will keep shut, And every negative emotion and every negative feeling you have about me, just throw it out. Give it to me. Maybe not that heroic, but that was like... This is the mindset I normally put my sponsees in. But... no, but... Just the fact that I can get a clean slate with other people. Just take my responsibilities for the things I've done. To be a good son again for my parents. To be a good employee for my employer again. To be a good friend for my friends. And just be an active and functional organ of like the society. And I think that is the most powerful CA has given me. From the little child that never was able to finish something, to like an anger ball that's going around the room, to like someone that is just standing here, still don't know what I'm doing. But I have confidence that the thing I'm doing is going to help me, and is going to save me, and is going to give me a future. What the future is going to be, I have no idea. But I know when I'm doing the steps, every day, as best as I can, it doesn't have to be perfect, but as best as I can, life is doable. Sometimes it's great, but most days it's doable. And that brings me to step 10, 11, and 12. 10 and 11, at every day, just reflect on myself. What went good? What went bad? And just to give me a pat on the shoulder, I have to say what I'm doing good again. But reflecting on yourself, what could I have done better this day? Not to pay myself, not to hurt myself, but just to improve the next day. Because when I'm reflecting every day on myself, what have I done wrong? I can take that, I can write it down, I lay it next to my bed, and when I wake up, I can use that on my step 7 again. What I've done wrong the first day, I can correct the second day. And of course, the second day I make new faults again, but I can make up for them on the 4th day. And that's just a way of living. Every day I try to resolve the things I did the last day. And just step 12, I think it's the most beautiful thing that CA gave me. Everything this wise man in front of me has learned me. No, but everything the fellowship gave me, I can give back to the fellowship again. I don't have a lot of thoughts in my head. It isn't about me anymore. Sure, sometimes I have those feelings. I'm a bit down. I'm sad. I'm feared. But that's okay. I can cope with that. And every moment I have spare in my life, I'm free from my own head. I can give to someone else. Now sitting at the table with sponsees myself and seeing them getting the same growth as I have done in the first year of my recovery, I can't describe it. It's like a light at someone that goes on, and I can't describe it. It's God's work. But I think that's the most powerful message CA has given me. The world is not about me. The world is about others, and how can I be the best use of those others? Every time I'm angry, every time I'm anxious, I can be of help with someone else. Every time I'm confident and I'm self-loved and I'm loving with God, I can be helpful with other people. And I think that is the most powerful message I ever got me. I'm a grateful man. I'm a happy man. I'm a confident man. I have a lot of flaws, I know, but I'm 26 years of age right now, and the first 24 years in my life, I never had the feeling of fulfillment in life. And now I'm 26, I can say to myself, you're okay. You matter. You do to it. And I think that is the most... I never thought I will be here. And I see to myself, when I let go of this program that gave me so much, and when I go back to drug using, the next... Is het klaar?
No, I'm just saying like...
No, but for a fact, I had a car crash. When it happens to me next time, I'm not sure how I'm able to get out of the car again. that moment was my spiritual moment. At that moment, I knew I have to change something, because otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to be 30 years old. I still don't know, but I'm getting more confident every day. Now, but that's the fact. If something happens to me again, like last time happened, I don't know if I'm alive. When I came to CA, I started to believe that I am alive. I have a future, and I have some things to go on. And even more than that, today I have so many things I never thought I will be able to achieve. Just because I trust God, I love God, and I take it in my life. And I think that is a nice moment to cut it off. So.
Yeah, thank you. Is it working? Yes? Don't leave until the miracle has happened, guys. We still have to finish the meeting. Our time is up. If you have any questions that went unanswered, or you feel the need to share after the meeting, there's always somebody that you can speak with. We are all here to help. Then I would like somebody to read a vision for you. You want to read it? Again? Ja, je hebt het al een keer gedaan.
My name is Joey. I'm a cocaine addict. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask Him in the morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who's still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with Him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to Him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you. Until then.
So we have a moment of silent meditation for the addict who still suffers. Please, thank you very much. Thank you. We can make a big circle to lead. And is there anybody celebrating today some birthday or whatever? Nobody in the room? No? Okay. Met een W, hè? Ja, we close. Wessel, waar ben je? Where you are, Wessel? Could you lead us out, baby?